you've got a product idea, but you're struggling to turn that into real sales, then here's the exact things that you can do to get your first 100 orders with zero budget. My name's Joel, and I built an e-commerce fashion brand to become an ASOS.com partner brand in my 20s, and I've since worked as a marketing and growth advisor for over 100 other teams, some of which you will have heard of by now. I've been head of growth, a non-executive director, a startup mentor. I've been around the block. Yeah, fine, okay. This video is different from your 5-year master plan advice. I'm not saying there's not a place for planning, because there really is, but this just isn't the time. What you need is to get that massive boulder of momentum moving in the right direction to your first 100 sales. So this is the most straightforward path to achieve that. Okay, let's start by breaking down exactly what we need to get those results. Starting at the end and working our way back here, we will need these two components. 5,000 targeted website visitors at a 2% conversion rate brings us to 100 sales. Now, obviously you can have a variation of numbers in these components, but I've chosen these numbers because I think this is the easiest thing to achieve at your stage of the journey. Obviously we want conversion rates to be way higher than this, which means you'll need less traffic. But I've personally seen so many e-commerce founders overinvest their time and their energy into conversion rates when their time would be much better spent increasing the total amount of people brought to the website. Now, although the maths of achieving this is extremely simple, as you can see, execution is everything. Well, luckily, getting traffic to a website is what I've been doing for over 10 years. So let's start with component number 1, finding your traffic. So we've got a business idea, we know what we want to sell. And if you're a pro, you would have started that process by building a perfect customer avatar, essentially who really needs this product and who's most likely to buy it straight away. I won't cover perfect customer avatars because I talk about them for 6 hours a day. So if you want to learn more about them, you can watch any of my videos. I'll pick my favorite one. But we use this tool so that we can find out where our perfect customer spends a lot of their time. A reminder here that no paid ads are required. These are all options that are free or very, very, very tiny costs to get into. Although paid ads are useful for learning and getting quick traffic to your store, they actually have some downsides too. They have lower margins because any sale you do get on your store from paid ads means that you've had to pay for all that other traffic that didn't convert. Ad traffic is often some of the lowest converting traffic that there is, simply because they don't have a base of trust. They've just seen your ad for the first time. Any traffic you do get that doesn't convert, you will likely need to pay more in ads to ever get them to return to your store again, costing you even more in the future. And if you're personally new to ads, it can cost thousands, maybe tens of thousands of pounds, just for you to learn how to not run ads successfully. So although it is a nice luxury to have if you've got the funds, these 3 channels that I'm about to suggest will be a more profitable long-term play. Option A, content marketing. This is an obvious one that you're all aware of, but I have to include it. Simply because there is no other channel where your personal skill set can take a business as far as in content marketing in such a short amount of time. I'm not saying it's always quick, because it rarely is. But with no money, if you've got the right brand or the right product, anyone avoiding making content is missing out on some seriously cheap long-term growth. To succeed at this, it just means you have to spend 6 to 18 months really getting good at your style of content that you've chosen before you're actually able to reap any of the rewards. And that's the sacrifice that most people just aren't willing to take, which just means there's more for the rest of us, right? And the bonus here, personally for me, content marketing is the funnest of the 3 that I'm gonna list today. Making nice videos and drawing pretty pictures is a much better day for me personally than any of the other tasks. It is important to choose something you like. Option B, affiliate programs. Okay, so that's a bit of an umbrella term. This can mean influencers, ambassadors, referrals, anyone who has a related audience to your product and is willing to attach their personal brand to your reputation. The great thing with this is that it's pretty much free until you make your first sale. Admittedly, most of the time you should probably send them some free products so that they can make some good content. Otherwise, it's pretty difficult. But the point being, there's no large upfront cost, and you only need to pay them a percentage of a sale once it's happened and in your bank account. You should also wait until after the returns period is over before paying out to any affiliates. A few key things for this channel. Using someone else's trust and connection with their audience is the fastest route for your potential customers trusting you. The downside here, having managed a lot of affiliates and content creators in my first brand, it takes a lot of time and energy to build these relationships. And it's really frustrating when smaller creators get bored and disappear after posting 2 or 3 times and not seeing huge results. My lesson from this is that essentially you need to aim for the size of creators who take their job very seriously, and they also understand that it's about long-term relationships with you as a brand, and it's not just a few posts. If you're a sociable people person, not like me, then this is a sensible choice for you, especially if you combine this with your own content marketing strategy so you can repost their content and it's an easier journey for their customers to then become your customers. And finally, option C, that's existing platforms and marketplaces. Sell your shit on somebody else's platform. Now stay with me here. I know this isn't the same as getting your 100 orders on your own website, but hold your horses. I don't know why I'm saying that phrase. Just wait. It's fast revenue on day one. Again, there's only usually fees after you make a sale, but the downsides obviously exist here too. You need enough product differentiation or you won't stand out. And you can't be different simply on price, because if your only added value is that you're cheaper than everybody else, you'll get yourself in a price war and nobody but the customer wins in price wars. This is the fastest way to put your own company out of business. Now, the intention of using marketplaces is to get money through the door on day one, yes. But in my opinion, it's mainly so that you can get your product into potential customers' hands. And that's when you start pushing them towards your own sales channels and therefore becoming your customers rather than the marketplace's customers. Now, I mentioned my first brand earlier, which eventually shut down because of COVID, but here's one of the biggest lessons I learned from this 7-year journey. We started selling on Depop, then we moved to ASOS Marketplace, then we moved to the actual ASOS.com website. And throughout this whole journey, we also ran a Shopify store on the side. We got some sales. And although it really helped with our high street stores for customers to pre-order or send returns or click and collect, we always relied on marketplaces for the bulk of our revenue. Well, guess what? I woke up one morning to an email from the ASOS management team saying we've updated how the algorithm works, blah, blah, blah. So I ran to my computer to find out exactly what's happened here. To find that our products were not on the search pages like they were for several years before that. The changes essentially meant that a lot less people were seeing our products. Our sales absolutely tanked. And although we managed to find other ways to sell products, we never really saw the same results again. So what did I learn from this? Do not rely on marketplaces forever. It's a short-term play. We need to simply use them as advertising or as a cash flow tool. We always need to try and pull these repeat buyers into our own channels, our own ecosystem, so onto your own website. Even if it costs more that way to get people to buy directly from you, that sacrifice up front is better than waiting for this marketplace to randomly drop you one day like they did for us. You need to choose one of these 3 channels that make most sense for your customer and your own skill set. Then you need to commit to being great at it. The results come after you get really good, not the other way around like some of us naively believe. So that's component number 1. Moving on to component number 2, getting a conversion rate. And surprisingly, your website isn't actually where we're going to start with this. There's 3 things that matter here. The traffic quality, which will be sorted if you've got component number 1 correct. Selling a product that this exact audience actually wants to buy. And only then do we think about your website and how it has to have a certain level of trust according to your price point. By that, I mean a £10 product versus a £10,000 product requires a completely different level of quality of website for your customers to feel safe purchasing from. So make sure you match the minimum criteria for your level. Having worked with hundreds of online store projects, here's what actually matters and what you need to do at this exact stage. The customer's journey to purchase works and nothing is broken. You have clear product info answering all the customer's questions before they have to go looking for them. You have a frictionless checkout, so don't over-design anything too fancy here. You need trust badges and trust signals, which can be hard when you haven't got many sales, but concentrate on getting reviews early and give as many reasons as you can for your customer to trust you. Don't have too many decisions, not too many options, not too many buttons. Any friction equals a loss in sales, so simplicity is always the answer. There's a bunch of things you can do. Here's some things that really aren't required yet, and they're simply a distraction at this point. You don't have enough traffic to do any advanced conversion rate optimization. You need enough data to be able to tell if changing the weight of your font on your CTA is going to make a massive difference. I'd avoid any fancy animations or just anything that makes your page load slower. And essentially, we don't require perfection at this point to get to the 100 sales. In fact, chasing it is just a poor use of your time right now. Please use that time to try and double the amount of traffic coming to your store. Then you can optimize later. Okay, you're trying to achieve these things on your e-commerce store, but there's an overwhelming amount of options and you can't seem to get the right formula for it all to piece together. Let's talk about the process that the pros use to take big leaps in their conversion rates. We can continue this chat over here.